battered Floridians dealing with more than just the damage brought by Idalia yesterday. Residents in the Sunshine State are shocked as real estate is in a free-for-all. Insurance premium.
Free fall.
Free fall
yeah.
is what I meant to say. Insurance, thank you. This is why I miss my girl. Insurance premiums are just going up at a rate, I mean, not seen in modern times. Like, we're not talking about a little bit. We're talking about a lot.
A lot of it.
And that trickle-down effect also, that affects homeowners. Their association dues,
rents in some cases because people are renting, but the owners of the buildings' costs are going up so dramatically.
Right. I mean, we talked about this before, right? COVID was a big deal. It was a big driving force for people coming to the Sunshine State. We had a mass influx of people coming from states like New York, New Jersey, you name it, or California, coming here. That could change, though, because the state is becoming more and more expensive. Joining us now with analysis is real estate expert Jerry Pinkas. Jerry, thanks so much for joining us. I know this is a hot topic, especially for Gina.
Oh, yeah, I'm mad. I am mad. I'm spitting fire about this one, Jerry.
just to give you an idea, but what can people do? And I just want to put it in perspective. So before we go to this question, let's just put it in perspective. So you had a friend of yours, right, that is going to have to sell her condo because what's the
insurance, and this is across the board. I'm hearing this every day from viewers of this program and friends of mine, and my own insurance costs have tripled on my home. But friends of mine already have been impacted. They were moving to Florida. They bought a condo complex. They have to sell that condo complex now because the insurance rates tripled on them as well. What can people do other than move to a different state? And why are they getting this massive insurance bill in the mail?
So what's crazy about this is I'm in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and I'm getting the fallout from Florida. And what's happened is I went down to Florida because I had so many people coming into our real estate office that were complaining about this, right? It's a big issue. And we have people who are retiring and moving south, and suddenly their costs are going up double and triple. So people are looking in other areas. But the biggest issue, I just had a lady in my office yesterday. She said her insurance went from $2,000 to $5,400. And you look at what's actually happening, you know, there's only so much people can do to escape that. And we've had people who said in 2019 that they told me that 2019 their insurance was $2,000. Then it went to $4,000 in 2020. And then, of course, it keeps on going up, and they got a bill for $13,000. And I mean, think about that. From there to there.
But why?
It's a point where
it's happening. Right? It's happening all across the state. Yeah.
It is. No matter where you live, because even if you're central in the state, it's a thing that's happening.
So real quickly, how do we combat that without having a mass exodus? And I know it's happening in other places, but what can we do to fix the situation? And maybe there isn't, except allowing the markets to correct itself.
Well, no,
it's a supply and demand issue when you have so many people have left the marketplace. So if you look at all the insurers that have pulled out of the marketplace, as a matter of fact, Farmers just pulled out last month. And so it's a supply and demand issue. The interesting part about this is Citizens Insurance, which is the insurer of last resort, is now the largest insurer in the state. So, you know, that was supposed to be the bridge, the gap between like Cobra Insurance. If you had a business or if you left a job and you're trying to gap between the next, it would be like Cobra. Well, that's what this Citizens was supposed to do. But unfortunately, now it's the largest insurer in the state with 1.3 million insured. So what do we do about this? The only way really to do it is you look at the insurance companies. They're looking at the risk factors. You know, Florida happens to be the #1 hurricane state in the nation. So unless we get more people in that are actually in the insurance business that will be adding those insurance policies, I don't have a solution. I wish I did. You're right.
I mean, why would they come? There's no motivation. Ron DeSantis has made it so that there is zero motivation for other insurers to come into the state. I happen to know this issue pretty well because my husband is a former senator from the state of Missouri. We had this problem in Missouri. My husband fixed it. What he did was he had the state back up the insurance companies and say, hey, if you come in and there's a big disaster, the state will have your back. That's all Ron DeSantis has to do. He hasn't done it. And until he does it, no insurer, what insurer, what business mind in the entire world would come into a state like Florida that is clearly going to have more hurricanes, right? Isn't it up to Ron DeSantis to fix this? And why hasn't he?
Well, when I did this video, what's interesting is it first came out, I had 2.8 million views on it. So it's obviously a thing, right? But the comments on the video on the channel on YouTube was amazing because, again, they're saying, what can we do to fix this? And a lot of it is they're saying, who's to blame for this and what can we do about this? Crazy comments. I mean, and there didn't seem to be a solution that came from it from anybody who was commenting in there other than what you just said, which would be to back it up and to make sure that they're solvent and they're not going to have this issue. One of the issues is with Florida that is a big deal, and they've commented about, is that 79% of the lawsuits, homeowners lawsuits, are coming out of the state of Florida when 21% are over the rest of the country. Now think about that. What does that do, right? So when you get the legal involved, prices go up. So for every dollar collected, if you have an attorney who's, $700-800 an hour, what happens? So the costs exponentially grow. And I think that some controls have to be put in place in order to stop that. And that'll bring some of them back.
Yeah. And again, this is up to state governments to take care of things like this and ultimately to the executive branch, which is, of course, Ron DeSantis, who's not taking care of it.